Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. So I could derive it from, I don't want to give you the answer. So what's the 2 Islamic moral legal principles we can use, which is part of ilm, to solve this problem easily in a confident way? Sorry? Thank you. First, principle number 1. There is no harming, no reciprocating of harm. It's a hadith, in an An-Nawawi's hadith. It's become a legal moral principle. There is no harm, no reciprocating of harm. So how do we apply it to the context of the age of consummation? We apply it by saying, she was of a mental, psychological and physical ability where there was no harm. Simple. Simple. Because we don't have arbitrary numbers in Islam. We have a principle and we apply the principle. There is a person X with age Y, the unknown. How do we assess whether they're ready for consummation? Is there going to be mental harm or is there going to be psychological harm? No. If it's no, then that passes the first principle. Clear? Is this clear? Yes. Okay. What's the second moral principle we could use? Who said this? That's part of the harm. Yeah, it's part of the harm. Like, you know that they're mature enough, physically and psychologically. And that changes from person to person, and even society to society, because there was no concept of adolescence in the Islamic community. You're a kid, then you're an adult, khalas. You know. What's the second principle? Who knows? Urf. Urf is social custom. But not urf of the kuffar, urf of the Muslims, by the way. Yeah? So urf is social custom. So the social custom at the time of Prophet ﷺ is that this was not even seen as anything blameworthy. Her father, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, said, she's ready, take her, basically. His enemies didn't have a problem with it. So how do we apply the social custom today? How do we apply the first principle today? So we see, if someone wants to have consummation through the halal means marriage, we say, well, forget the age, let's first find out, are they mentally or physically ready? Or would it harm them mentally or physically? We make that assessment. Second, is it in line with the urf, the social custom of the Muslims? If it's no, then you can't do it, because it's part of the moral legal principles. This is when a right-wing guy says to me, would you allow your 9-year-old daughter to sleep with a 60-year-old man? I'm like, no, I think it's immoral. There's nothing wrong with that. Based on what though? Social construct, social, the urf, what's urf in English again? I just said it. Custom, yeah. Social custom. Based on the social custom, because that's part of the moral legal principle for me to make that assessment. Do you see? Now the only comeback they have is, oh, but if a 9-year-old gets pregnant at any era of time, she's likely to be harmed. That's not true. If you look at all the scientific studies, you're more likely to be harmed or to die as a 36-year-old pregnant woman than a 9-year-old pregnant woman. So the argument is false. So what does this show? This shows the timeless flexibility of the Sharia based on legal moral principles. It's not arbitrary. It's based on is there physical or spiritual or social harm or psychological harm, and is it aligned with the social custom? And then you have a timeless legal ethic. But in secular societies, in New York, I could get married at 14, I think. In other states, it's 21. I could consummate at 15 in France. But in some states, it's 18 in America. So in France, I'm legal. In America, I'm a pedophile. It's inconsistent. And that's why if someone says to you, oh, the age of Aisha, consummation at 9, just reply by saying, okay, what age did you want her to be? Whatever answer they give you, they're going to get stuck. Because they have to give you a number. They're not giving you a principle, they're giving you a number. If say 18, well, most people are pedophiles then. Or 14 then. Okay, well, still, it's inconsistent. So on and so forth. But if you give a principle, you show how timeless the principle is. The other thing you need to show, not show, but to show is, or to indicate, that across times, social context actually help change the development of our biology. Like, there were men fighting at the age of 14, leading armies at 14. Now, our 14-year-olds lead armies on Xbox. Yeah? So the construct shapes you as well. So do you see those two ilmi principles, how it solves the problem? So when someone says to me, do you think it's moral now? No, I don't think it's moral now. And that's based on Islam. Khalas, it's such an easy thing to deal with. And that's just an example. When you have ilm, you could solve shubuhat. Any questions before we go to the last two? Yes, brother.
But it's not really define ilm, because some people restrict it to only Quran and Sunnah. Some say ilm includes everything, philosophy.
Well, it can, but when we say ilm generally, it's religious ilm, isn't it? Quran, Sunnah, usul al-fiqh, usul al-tafsir, usul al-hadith, stuff like that. It's part of the ilm. But does that also require access to other ilms? Sometimes, especially if you do tafsir, there's a category of tafsir called tafsir al-ilmi. Tafsir al-ilmi is looking at ayats that we refer to nature and try to connect it to modern science. To do tadabbur. You may need to have access to science, fine. So there is sometimes an overlap. But in general, ilm is Islamic ilm. The obligation is to have Islamic ilm. Like, don't think it's ilm if you're going to study philosophy. Quite the opposite, actually. That could end up destroying you. That's why I'd say that ilm is philosophy is haram by default, unless you have 5 things in place. I'm not going to tell you what those 5 things are right now. Yeah. Well, those 5 things are: number 1, you have to have a solid understanding of Aqidah. Number 2, you have to have a close relation with Allah, like, working on your spiritual heart. Number 3, you have to have access to good peers and friends that, a good environment. Number 4, you have to have access to ulama that know how to apply Aqidah in a contemporary sense and deal with some of the issues that may arise. And number 5, it has to be for a valid reason. You're doing it for dawah reasons or whatever the case may be. If you don't have those 5 things in place, it's potentially very blameworthy to engage in philosophy. Western philosophy. Yeah, so you see how ilm solves the problem. Right, what number are we on now? 9. What's missing? Sorry? These are easy. We've got 2 left. I'm going to give you 9 and 10 together, and then we'll do a little quick Q&A. 9 and 10. So number 9 is seek a specialist. You have to understand that you're never going to answer all the questions yourself. It's impossible. It's biologically impossible. We don't have the cognitive apparatus to answer every single question ourselves. Some of the Islamic sciences are so large that you can't master everything yourself. Even knowledge in secular understanding, you can't master all knowledge yourself, whether it's biology or whatever the case may be. We have to rely on the say-so of others. Even the scientific method is dependent upon testimony, relying on other people's say-so. Because if someone believes in evolution, for example, it's such a big science now that they can't do all the science themselves. So they have to rely on the say-so of other scientists. And we know this in Western philosophy. It's called the epistemology of testimony. Testimony is one of the sources of knowledge in the West, just like it is in the Islamic tradition. It's not spoken about much, but Dr. Elizabeth Fricker, she says, basically, given that she has limitations, she has to rely on the say-so of others. Like she has to take a car to a mechanic. She says she's not a mechanic. When you go to the doctor, you have to rely on the testimony. You're not a doctor yourself. So that's number 1. Number 2, we have khair in the ummah. The Prophet said there is goodness in the ummah. And you will find a specialist in the ummah somewhere. And if the question requires a specialist, then seek the specialist. The Prophet said in a hadith, the cure to ignorance is to ask. What does Allah say in the Quran? Yeah, if you don't know, ask those who know, the people who know, the people of remembrance. We have the specialists, seek them. We go to specialists for doctors, we go to specialists for when we're ill, for a mechanic, for counseling, for all these other secular reasons. The most important reason, our iman, we're not even bothered to ask a specialist. Shaitan tricks us, we get consumed by the question. Just because we can't answer it, we think, oh my God, no one's going to be able to answer this, I have a doubt, oh my God, my iman. Calm down, man. Seek a specialist and be steadfast in that journey. There are people who know how to answer your question. The final strategy, I know this sounds a bit funny, but it's not funny, or a bit of a spiritual cliche, is the most important. And it's connected to the one about the qalb, strengthening the heart, which is dua. None of these things will work unless it's in line with the will and power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dua is your weapon. Dua is the weapon of the believer. You make dua sincerely to guide you, for these strategies to work, for this shubha to go. Make dua in sajda, in the last third of the night. And dua is the essence of worship. The Prophet said it's like the bone marrow, the essence of worship. Because think about what dua is. Dua is a manifestation, an expression of your ultimate dependency on Allah. Allah is As-Samad, He is the self-sufficient, He is Al-Ghani, the rich, He is Al-Khaliq, the creator. Everything depends on Him, even your doubts, even your qalb, your spiritual heart. Allah controls this. So making dua is the ultimate manifestation, expression of your state, that you're utterly dependent on Allah. Nothing escapes the will and power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So make dua like you are the impoverished one. You are poor. You're a fakir, right? You're poor, impoverished. It reminds me of a beautiful poem from Rumi, not Rumi, Iqbal, Wallahi. It's one of the most beautiful poems. He wrote it in Persian. I found it, someone had it in the room in South Africa. And he's actually talking to Allah. And he says to Allah, actually I want to read it to you. Wallahi, it's so powerful. It's a beautiful Persian. When they read it to me and translated it, I almost broke down crying. Let me just give this to you. Just bear with me. Yeah. So if I knew the Persian, I would have said it, but I don't know the Persian. And this is a poetic translation. Basically, speaking to Allah, you are the rich, the Lord of all domains, while I am a beggar, I'm fakir, I am poor, in need remain. Let this, me being poor, impoverished, poor, weak, let this alone excuse me on that day, the day of judgment, that I was fakir, I was poor. No more I dare to say. But if my reckoning must still appear, then hide me from Mustafa's gaze in fear. Because he didn't want to expose his sins in front of the Prophet ﷺ. Such a beautiful, beautiful poem. Wallahi, it's so beautiful. So you are rich, the Lord of all domains, while I, a beggar, lost in need remain. Let this alone excuse me on that day, that I was poor, no more I dare to say. But if my reckoning must still appear, then hide me from Mustafa's gaze in fear. Because he loved the Prophet so much, he didn't want his sins to be exposed in front of the beloved Prophet ﷺ. It's beautiful, beautiful. I nearly broke down crying when I saw that. It was wow. It was wow. And it shows the love that Iqbal had for the Prophet ﷺ, Alright, so dua. Make dua. Because everything is in control in the hands of Allah. I remember when I had shubuhat in my early days in Islam, I actually received this email in the first 3 or 4 months. And it created such a big intellectual doubt. But because I used to, I prayed before I became Muslim, I knew Islam was true. Like my soul knew it was true. But when I received that question, my brain kind of had a massive doubt. I believed it wasn't true in that mind sense, but my heart knew it was true. I used to make dua in sajda so many times. Oh Allah, align my mind with my heart, yeah? Guide me. And it has a power. But it has to be steadfast. Make dua. Dua is your weapon. In actual fact, it should be the beginning and the end of what you do. And may Allah make us all like this. So these are the 10 effective strategies. So just to summarize what we've covered, we covered what is the human being. It's not just an abstract aql. The aql is a function of the qalb. The qalb has fitan, shahawat, shubuhat. You can get diseased. So no matter what you feed the aql, it doesn't mean your heart's going to be sound. Doesn't mean you're going to accept the truth. So you have to understand the human being in that way. We also spoke about the fitrah and the nature of the fitrah, to uncloud the fitrah, to awaken the truth within. Then we spoke about the role of hikmah, how important hikmah is in the mentoring process and dealing in dawah in general. That hikmah is having an Allah-pleasing goal in a particular context, and you're applying ilm in that context to achieve the goal. Then we spoke about the importance of worldviews. Worldviews are the lenses that you put in your eyes, that you understand the world as it is. And Islam are the clear lenses that allow you to see with clarity. Other worldviews, paradigms, ideologies like liberalism and secularism are cracked lenses, cracked, glasses that make you see light as darkness and guidance as falsehood, right? So, and worldviews answer questions concerning different domains of inquiry that shape your understanding of the world. Therefore, it could lead to shubuhat, and that would help you if you apply the hikmah process to understand what the context of the person is, what is the worldview context, right? Then we start speaking about the 10 effective strategies on how to deal with shubuhat, and those strategies are not a roadmap. They're not like a start with one and end with the other. They're a toolkit that you may have to use in combination with others depending on the person's context when you apply the hikmah framework, to apply the strategies in the most effective way. If you listen with the intention to understand and have that empathy. So we mentioned those 10 effective strategies, and just to conclude, this is just the beginning. You need to go to the website learn.sapiensinstitute.org, go on the course, do the multiple choice questions. Also go to our website sapiensinstitute.org and find the book No Doubt. Download the book and read it as well. Also on our YouTube channel, there is a Dhul Hijjah series, a 10-part series called No Doubt in Pursuit of Certainty. That is a poetic framing on all of the strategies, including worldview. If you have all those three things and you do them, then you'll be in a very good journey on actually helping yourself with shubuhat and helping others, inshallah. May Allah bless you. Jazakallah for your time. Sorry for going over the time by 2 hours, 15 minutes. But may Allah bless you. And anyone who wants to be a mentor, please speak to the Sheikh, the Imam, or to our brother Nadeem. Give your names, and maybe in the future we could do like a 2-day intensive on an application of these strategies as well. Yes, Sheikh.
With the Imam's permission, I don't know who was that, Isaac? What it is, we actually had a discussion. What led up to this was, alhamdulillah, there was some ideas about starting a course related to Shubhat. So what we're planning to do now, inshallah, is we want to have like a weekly link up with brothers to expand on the knowledge that's already in place. So although mashallah this was fantastic, alhamdulillah, we don't want it to just rest at this. How do we build on this? And inshallah, soon come, we're going to try and get a weekly thing going, and we're going to try and bring back the message. So we can start making progress. And for that, what we decided was that we're going to get people involved in the no-doubt course, and then have the weekly link up to discuss what's being studied. So that's the next step, inshallah. Is that plan one? What's the new plan? That's still yeah, because that's what the meeting is about, the committee. They're all up for it. So we link up once a week, go through the course, and brothers can discuss. The sisters want to do their own thing, bismillah, go through it. Once we complete that, then it's about maybe rolling out the members in our community and build with each other. So inshallah, that's what the next plan is. And by the way, I'm going to participate in all of that.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, khair. May Allah bless you all. Jazakallah for your time. I hope it was productive, but please continue the journey. Don't let it stop here, inshallah, yeah? Oh, I don't take photos with sisters, sorry. Right. Unless you want my wife to kill me and you and everyone were dead. May Allah bless you. May Allah bless you. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I got pins and needles.
Oh, all that standing was silly.
The mic, someone's mic. Sorry, bro? No, don't worry about that, man. They want the insistence. It's you. You can do what you want. Yeah, I don't know what you do.